You're good to waive conditions. That's what I told my client. 5 words. I said it that way 100 times before. Confident, easy, no big deal. But that sentence that one day cost me $20,000. I'm going to tell you exactly how it happened, not because it's a fun story. It's not a fun story, but because if you're a broker or you advise people, you've made the same mistake I made and you just haven't been billed for it yet. Here's how I got billed. I was a couple years into the mortgage business and I had a client I was working with and was referred to me from a real estate agent, and they had found a perfect property for them. And I managed to get them approval. I got them a commitment. I didn't get an approval. I should back up. I got them a commitment on the file and everything looked good, looked straightforward. Commitment came back quickly. I was in communication with the realtor and the client, and I thought everything was fine. But I remember going through the commitment, and in there was one condition that I thought was really odd. It said, subject to CMHC approval. And I thought to myself, why is it not approved by CMHC already? Because at least in my experience up to that point, usually I didn't get a commitment if there was no CMHC approval. But there was a condition in there saying subject to CMHC approval. And my gut started talking to me going, hey, what is this? Pay attention to this. And I just talked over and ignored it. I don't know, it's fine, it's fine. Plus, I had the pressure of I was trying to impress the realtor, trying to impress the client. And as I start to work through the conditions on the file, we have to remove the conditions. And I tell them, you're good to waive conditions. Everything's fine. They waive conditions, put down their deposit. And as I realize, I get an email from the lender and they say, oh, actually, we have to decline this file. It's been declined by CMHC. And I remember thinking, oh my God, what just happened? I literally told these people to put down a deposit. So the way that I ended up solving this, which is probably not how I would solve it today, but this is what I did in that time. I ended up writing an offer. I took over their offer, basically. I gave them back their deposit. I bought the house. I said, look, guys, we can't get you approved. You look for a property somewhere else in a different price range. I think I can make it work. I'll come back to that in a minute. And I ended up buying the property, tried to turn it into a rental, tried to do a rent to own. Took me multiple months, tons of stress, headache. By the time I ended up selling it and had to pay real estate fees, I was owed $20,000 out of pocket. And I remember when I came home from work after making this mistake, I said to my wife, I'm like, oh, by the way, we just bought a house in Rutland. And she's like, why do we buy a house in Rutland? And I explained, I made a mistake. I told the client they're good. They weren't. And so in the end, there's a couple of good takeaways that came from this. One was that the fact that I stood behind my word, even when I'd made the mistake, I ended up doing a lot more business with that real estate agent because they saw that I stood behind my word on it. Second is I ended up helping that couple get a property at a lower price. And I helped them. I helped their grandparents. I got multiple mortgages from that family. But I can tell you, it was very stressful at the time. And for me, the lesson that I learned in this is that when you get that weird feeling, something's off, don't ignore it. If there's something that's, I've had other situations come up since then where I've had opportunities come across my desk and it looks like an amazing opportunity. Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But there's something that feels weird, feel off in my stomach. Now I've learned to slow down and say, wait a second, what is that? Because your body's talking to you, right? Your body's saying, hey, wait a second, pay attention, if you're listening. If you're not listening, of course, you're going to end up paying the price for it at some point. It ended up being, other than the $20,000 loss, which sucked, I built a great relationship with that real estate partner. I ended up great relationship with those clients, but it was very stressful at the time. And so now my rule is if I'm feeling uneasy about something, I have to slow down and unpack it. So if there's something that's usually a weird feeling or you simply got a gut reaction, it's like, I think what's going on, I'm not a scientist, what I think is going on is that we've got obviously the logic part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex that fires and it's logical, but you've got this other part of your subconscious that makes connections and connects things. And it doesn't speak as loud, but it will tell you if you're listening. And so I found that for me, when I have that weird feeling now, I just slow down. I go, wait a second. I start to unpack. And I find what helps is I spend some time writing it out. Okay, here's what's going on. What's underneath it? What's the emotion? Why that emotion? I start unpack. And they go, oh, then I figure out what it is. Sometimes, like in this case, I would just need more information. But I picked up the phone, made a phone call and talked to the underwriter. They said, oh yeah, we issued a commitment, but we haven't got a CMHC approval yet. I could have sidestepped that entire mess. So I hope you guys don't make this mistake that I make. And I would also tell you that when you have something happening, especially when there's big dollars involved, and mortgages are always big dollars for the most part, you need to make sure that if you get that weird feeling, slow down, pay attention, ask questions, do some uncovering, because otherwise you're going to end up writing the check. It may not be 20,000, maybe it'll be more, maybe it'll be less, but you'll end up writing a check that you don't want to write or end up being very stressed out. So I hope you find that useful. Hopefully you'll learn from my mistake. And I have applied this many times since, and it's helped me tremendously. Hey, I'm Scott Beckford. This is I Love Mortgage Brokering Podcast. Now we say there's no problem in your mortgage business that someone else has already solved. These episodes are designed to help you with this one today is specifically just an example of something that happened to me. Hopefully you find this useful. if you want to, follow what we're doing, go check me out on social. You can hit me up as a follow, or you can get on my email list, Peckford's Playbook. We send out these emails every week with useful links, things that can help in your mortgage business. Thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.